Good morning, everyone. Before I start this video and dive into the information, I would like to thank the Black Police Precinct and Courthouse Museum for giving me information and inspiring me when I went there a few years ago, and their lovely collection. I love the way they do things at that museum. I would like to thank Marvin Dunn for writing his book. The book is great, Black Miami in the 20th Century. If you haven't read it yet, you need to read it. It's a really good book. It really gives a lot of inspiration and a lot of information about the history of Miami. And I would like to thank my cousins, Gloria Gay Allen, Jackie Gay Washington, and Donna for giving me information and also inspiring me. So here goes. In the year 1935, census show that Mr. Moses Gay was living with the Howells in Overtown off of Northwest Fifth Avenue. This photo shows him with Mr. Van Howell, and my guess is that this picture was taken around that time by how young Mr. Van Howell looks, and of course by how young Mr. Moses Gay looks. Now, Moses Gay is the one with the white jacket. Mr. Van Howell is wearing the black jacket. And I believe that this photo was taken in front of Mr. Van Howell's house.
Um,
So what about organizations? Like what organizations? I know that he was active in the church. And your mom was active in the church. But what kind of organizations do they belong to? Civic, or like did they have like a girls group or a male group or something like that?
no, there was nothing outside of the church that they belonged to.
Mm-hmm.
When my dad, I take that back. When my dad first moved to Miami, he was on the police force, I believe it was in Miami.
Ooh,
It was one or only black, some kind of police.
patrolman.
Ah,
Yeah, because at the time, was this in Overtown or where was this?
yeah, yeah.
At the time, they you know how it goes. You need to have people that look like you that you can, So they put patrol. They didn't give blacks like that title of police officer, but they gave them the title of patrol, and that is some
Okay.
very interesting stuff. Okay, go on.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. And my daughter asked, because there used to be a picture. We used to have a picture of him
Mm-hmm.
with that group of men,
Mm-hmm.
and for the life of me, I cannot find that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do remember he was, as you say, a part of that patrol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back a bit. When they got married, they lived in Liberty City, and on 62nd. You know what 62nd Street is?
62nd Street.
The
Uh-huh.
project. The
Oh.
project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they lived there. They lived there along with, I think it was.
I know, and Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. And the ranges, they all were living in that same project area.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about why Liberty City Square was created. There are a few key terms that we had to remember. The first one, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Second, Great Depression. Third, the year 1933. Fourth, Overtown being overpopulated and unsanitary. Yes, I know, Overtown is a historic place, but the reality is that it was unsanitary and unsafe. Therefore, President Franklin D. Roosevelt authorized the construction of Liberty City Square projects in 1933 to give some relief to Overtown. So now we have the Liberty City Square. It opened in 1937. Blacks came from Overtown and moved to Liberty City Square. Now Overtown has relief. And now we have another neighborhood where blacks could live comfortably during the Jim Crow era. Anywhere you go, there's always the possibility that a crime could happen or bad things can happen. It doesn't matter what race you are, what neighborhood you're in, good or bad, black or white, Spanish, whatever. Crime is always a possibility, right? And it happens. So there had to be some people there to keep the peace. So now we have to talk about the placement of police officers or individuals to keep the peace in Liberty City Square in black neighborhoods. When we look at today, we hear about police brutality all the time. We're sad about it. It hurts us. It gets to our core. And it's really sad. It's always going to be sad. I'm here to let you know as well, however, that it was way worse during the Jim Crow era. It was way worse, way worse, okay? And it got to a point where there was kind of like a movement to, or a thing where if it was a black neighborhood, they would put people who were black in that neighborhood simply because they could relate to the black people, right? And to cut down on the brutality. They would cut down on putting white cops in black neighborhoods. Also, for the simple fact that whites could not relate to blacks, right? It's this whole like social thing also, right? Besides the police brutality, it's also this social thing where when you are a cop or somebody of a higher standard in the community, you should be able to relate to that community. That way you know the community, that way you have their best interests and you can look out more authentically. So that's where this picture comes in. This video is set up to really place a timestamp on this photo. And as we indicated in the beginning of the video, Mr. Moses Gay moved to Miami around 1935, right, or before. And when he married his wife, after he married his wife, he moved to Liberty City Square, right? And we have proof that he lived in Overtown in 1935. So that would place him exactly, in my opinion, based on everything that we have here, that would place him exactly at the time Liberty City Square opened, give or take. So it is my conclusion, based on all the facts that were presented in this video, that he was one of the first auxiliary police for Liberty City Square, keeping the peace. Now here are some interesting facts. As I close the video, I'm going to give you some interesting facts about auxiliary police, because the auxiliary police board that Mr. Moses Gay was on wasn't the only one. There were others as well. Let me give you some interesting facts. First of all, if a black auxiliary patrolman, police, whatever you want to call it, saw a white person doing a crime, they could not touch them. Okay, that's number one. They couldn't take them to jail. So another interesting fact is that they didn't get any benefits for being on the auxiliary police, and they were not allowed to be called police officers. They weren't given that honor. So before the black police precinct was created in Overtown, and I'm assuming, obviously this picture is way before that time, these men in this photo, when they had to go to the courthouse, the main courthouse where everyone went, all races, they weren't allowed to wear their uniforms there. Okay, that's number one. And they could not go inside the main building, okay? We have to remember that the Ku Klux Klan was heavy at this time, and white people in general did not want to see blacks in that kind of status. So I can understand why blacks were not allowed to be in the main part of that courthouse. And I can understand why blacks were not allowed to wear their uniforms. Moses Gay and the auxiliary police in Liberty City, although they were not treated equally, they are definitely an example of black resistance. They saw a need in the community where their own folk were being treated right by the white counterparts, and they put their compassion in their job to make sure that they authentically took care of their neighborhood. If you haven't gone to the Black Police Precinct and Courthouse Museum, I suggest that you go. It's a really good place. They give awesome tours there. I went there few years ago, and I had a really nice tour. Go there, get educated, and learn. Go inside, look at the artifacts, look at the clippings, and learn about the journey of Black police in Miami. Stay tuned, more to come. Thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me share.